Hello, I'm Father Jim Grummer, the Superior of the Gregorian University Jesuit Community in Rome. Father Mike McFarland, the President of the Gregorian Foundation, asked me if I could say a few words to you about what our situation is like these days. To give you some context, there are 70 Jesuits living in my community from 27 countries. We range in age from 38 to 92. 6 are actually away from home these days, 2 finishing up an important stage of formation in Mexico and Spain, respectively. 2 are in Germany on business. 1 got trapped in France when he attended his sister's funeral and couldn't get home before they closed the borders. And 1 is in Naples taking care of his bedridden mother, but teaching his classes online from Naples these days. We live on the top 2 floors of the main buildings of the university in the center of ancient Rome, about 50 yards from the Trevi Fountain. Until 6 weeks ago, we always had large numbers of tourists walking past the front doors of the university all day and all night. Total noise all the time. Now it's completely silent, as you may have seen in one of those internet videos with footage of the most famous places in the city taken by cameras mounted in drones flying around town. The seagulls all disappeared when the tourists left town because the restaurants closed and there was no more food for them to eat. And without traffic and street noise, we can hear church bells and songbirds that none of us ever noticed before. When the shutdown began, we started taking care of all the cleaning in the places where we live. It was impressive and edifying to see that many professors and scholars in my house are as good with mops, brooms, dishwashers, and cleaning supplies as they are with books and teaching. The good humor and generosity of the men has been inspiring and delightful for me as the superior of the house. I've also been heartened and excited by the enthusiasm that the Jesuits here have brought to teaching online. People whom I thought had no idea how to use internet technology are now quite comfortable with leading discussions online, lecturing to a computer screen, and making virtual contact with their students. It's fun to hear them discussing which programs they like best and why they like them, and to hear about all the time and energy they put into learning to teach in a completely different way than they're used to. There have been times in the past 6 weeks that I thought Lent would never end. Even though our situation at the Gregorian is quite secure, the number of deaths and new cases of virus make it sometimes feel as though we have been living in the silence of Holy Saturday for almost 2 months. So yesterday's gospel about St. Thomas refusing to believe that Jesus has risen was a great consolation for me. I thought about how awful the week after Easter must have been for Thomas. As far as he was concerned, Jesus was dead, and all of his friends had completely lost their minds, claiming that Jesus was alive. That week must have been really lonely for Thomas. And what a spectacular transformation it was when Jesus showed his hands and side to Thomas and told him to start believing. We can feel lonely and isolated at this time when we're shut up in our houses and we're separated from those we love and from the work that gives us energy in life. However, there are so many signs of resurrection around us that go unnoticed until we stop in the silence of these days and listen, that we need to pay attention to. What have I heard in the silence? What have I seen in this new changing situation? The toilet cleaning skills, the humble skills of Jesuits in my house, the spontaneous tributes to healthcare workers in Milan and Madrid and New York and so many other places all around the world, the creativity of telephone bingo in Dublin for shut-ins. One of my students is arranging care packages for the elderly who can't get out and shop. The list goes on. And when I stop and pay attention, I hear and see things that I haven't paid attention to before, I haven't seen before. Jesus is truly risen. He's alive among us, and he invites us to share his risen life in ways we never would have thought of being possible before. The past 6 weeks have been a time to realize what a tremendous privilege it is for us at the Gregorian to pray together in our community and to celebrate the Eucharist with one another, especially in these days when so few people can do so. We pray in a special way each day at noontime for all those who suffer in whatever ways because of the pandemic. Of course, we also pray for all of you. Please keep us in your thoughts and prayers as you remain in ours. May the risen Lord bless you with consolation and peace. Happy Easter.